Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go through adding and subtracting algebraic terms. But before we get into any questions, there's quite a bit of theory we need to revise from when you did algebra in year 7. So the key ideas on the first page do cover mostly definitions, so please make sure you understand them. I'm going to quickly go through them anyway. So first of all, in algebra, letters can be used to represent one or more numbers. So these letters are called pronumerals or variables. So remember that if you see a letter, it represents a number. Okay, and we usually refer to that letter as a pronumeral or a variable. All right, dot point number 2, A times B is written as AB, and A divided by B is written as A over B. Let me just get my highlighter, so because I know that the cursor isn't working. All right, so just remember A times B, in algebra, we don't usually write the multiply sign. So just remember when you see A, B together, that just means not AB, it's A times B. And then we don't usually use the division sign, so it's A over B. So writing division as a fraction, it's the same thing, okay? So often I will say in class A divided by B, but it'll look like a fraction, so it's exactly the same thing. Third dot point, we got A times A is A squared, all right? It's not 2A, all right, because 2 times A is 2A. A times A is A squared. It's the same as if I wrote something like, and I'll just do it over the side here, 5 times 5 is 5 squared, which is 25. Whereas if I had 2 times 5, that's 10, okay? So 2 different things. So just remember when you're multiplying the same pronumeral or the same variable or the same number, it becomes A squared, not 2 times whatever it is. All right, the third dot point, we've got an expression. All right, so the term expression is a combination of numbers and pronumerals combined with mathematical operations. So something like 3x plus 2yz is an expression. We've got 8 divided by, and then in brackets, 3a minus 2b plus 41 it's also an expression. Basically, if you don't have an equal sign, it's an expression. If there's an equal sign, it's an equation. All right, fifth dot point, not the last dot point for the page though. A term is a part of an expression with only pronumerals, numbers, multiplication, and division. So basically what I would say is terms are separated by a plus or a minus sign. Okay, so let's write that here. So terms separated by a plus or a minus sign. Okay, so as you can see in those examples there, here we've got 9 times A. 9A is a term in itself. All right, whereas back up here where we've got 3x plus 2yz, 3x is a term and 2yz is a term. All right, moving along. So a coefficient is the number in front of a pronumeral. So coefficient is the number in front of a pronumeral. So when I highlighted up here 9a, all right, the 9 is the coefficient and the a is the pronumeral. If the term is being subtracted, the coefficient is a negative number. And if there is no number in front of it, the coefficient is 1. All right, so for example, for this expression, 3x plus y minus 7z, the coefficient of x is 3. All right, so the number in front of the x is 3. The coefficient of y is 1. So when there's no number written there, it's just implied as being 1. And if it helps when you're learning, you can put the 1 there, okay, but eventually you won't put the 1. And the coefficient of z is negative 7, so then the minus sign is attached to that term, so negative 7 is the coefficient. A term that does not contain any variables is called a constant. So basically a number on its own, and I might just write that here, number on its own. All right, it's got no letter associated with it. Okay, the sum. Okay, if we're doing the sum of two numbers, we add them together. The difference means to subtract them. The product means to multiply. The quotient means to divide. And the square means to take the square of that number. So it's important to remember that, okay, because often you would get a question. It would say something, the difference between m and n is 2. So m minus n equals 2. All right, so you need to understand what multiplication sign is associated with which term. All right, and lastly, we're going to look at these key ideas. So like terms contain exactly the same pronumerals with the same powers. All right, so that's extremely important that they have the same pronumeral part and those pronumerals have the same powers. All right, so x squared and x cubed are not like terms. So even though they both have x in them, they're not like terms because they don't have the same powers. The pronumerals do not need to be in the same order. All right, so that's also important because we're multiplying. So here we've got 4 times A times B and 7 times B times A. They're like terms because when you're multiplying numbers, the order doesn't matter. Like terms can be combined when they are added or subtracted to simplify the expression. So you can only add and subtract terms when they are like terms. Doesn't matter for multiplication and division, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next video. But if you're adding or subtracting terms, they have to have the same pronumeral part. So you can see here you've got 3 lots of xy plus 5 lots of xy gives you 8 lots of xy. And the sign in front of the term stays with the term even when it's moved. So just make sure if you are rearranging to make it easier that you take that negative with the term. So you can see that negative 2x has been shifted. So you can clearly see the x's first and then the y's. All right, so just taking that negative sign with the term. All right, so we've got quite a few questions here to do. Now, you can do as many as you like with me. What I like to do is always, when I'm learning about like terms, well, I learned about like terms a very long time ago, but when I'm teaching like terms, is to colour the like terms in before I start. So for question A, I've got 7 lots of F plus 2 lots of F. And then I've got 8 and 4. So 8 and 4 are actually constant terms. So they're going to be coloured differently. So I just do that so I can see what I can add and subtract. All right, so I'm going to have 7F plus 2F gives me 9F. And then 8 plus 4 gives me 12. All right, so they have to be kept separate. I don't then write 21F, okay, because I've got 9 lots of F and I've just got 12 on its own. All right, let's move on to the next one. So it doesn't matter what color you use. All right, so for B, I've got 10 lots of X and 3 lots of X. So I'll color them both in yellow. Let's choose another color. And then 5 lots of Y and 3 lots of Y. Okay, so 10 lots of X plus 3 lots of X gives me 13 lots of X. And then 5 lots of Y plus 3 lots of Y gives me 8Y. All right, let's do the next one. Trying to choose some different colours. So we've got 2 lots of A plus 5 lots of A, and it's really hard to see that highlighter, isn't it? And then 13 lots of B minus 2 lots of B. So don't forget we've got to subtract there. All right, so 2 lots of A plus 5 lots of A gives me 7 lots of A, and 13 lots of B minus 2 lots of B gives me 11. All right, so 13 minus 2 gives you 11. All right, now I'm going to pause the video just because it's going to be an extremely long video if I keep talking. So perhaps pause here. Actually, before we pause, let's just do the next 6 by highlighting. So I'm going to do some more highlighting. So we're just going to highlight the like terms. So 10 lots of A and 3 lots of A. And it's green. So 5 lots of B and 4 lots of B. All right, so I'm going to highlight. So we've got a constant here. 10 and 2 is also a constant. Oh, I like this color. 5 lots of X and 7 lots of X. Trying to pick a little, like that color too. 10 lots of A minus 2 lots of A. This one here we've got a few different terms, 3 different terms. So 3 is the only constant. And do yellow. And then 4B minus B. So actually before I go, I might just do those 3 because they are a little bit different. And then you can pause and have a go at doing the rest. All right, so 10A plus 3A gives me 13A. And 5B plus 4B gives me 9B. All right, for question E, I've got 10 plus 2 is 12. And then 5x plus 7x gives me 12x. Then for F, I've got 10A minus 2A. Now, if it helps, you can actually rewrite them and then do the addition and subtraction. So then we've got the plus 3. And then the yellow terms, 4B minus B. And you can then just probably see them better. So 10A minus 2A is 8A plus 3. And then 4B minus B gives you 3B. All right, so you can pause here. I'm going to pause and finish off those questions. All right, how did you go with them? There were quite a few tricky ones, so I might just go over some of the harder ones. Let's have a look at question I first of all. So we've got 7x squared y plus 5x plus 10yx squared. So remember, the order of your pronumerals does not matter. So you can see there I've highlighted in blue both 7x squared y and 10yx squared. So if I was to put them in alphabetical order, and if that helps you, definitely rewrite it in alphabetical order. So I'm looking at I here, so I might just rewrite it over here. So 7x squared y, and then I can write 10x squared y plus 5x. All right, and then you can see how I've added the 7 lots of x squared y to the 10 lots of x squared y to get 17 lots of x squared y plus 5x. All right, question J is another one where the pronumerals have been mixed around. So we've got x, y, and yx, but they're actually the same pronumeral part. So you can see I've highlighted them all in, I would say that's purple, but some people might say blue. So you can just say 12 minus 3 is 9. Plus 5 is 14, minus 1 is 13. So we've got 13 lots of x, y. All right, so a little bit harder there. Question K, we've still got like terms. Now, if it's easier, there's nothing wrong with just changing the order. If you want to write the positive number first, so 3x squared minus 4x squared, right? If that's easier for you to see, then there's nothing wrong with doing that. And you could do that for L as well. So I might write that here. So you could write the 4a first, the minus 2a, right? Because you might be able to do 4 minus 2 more than negative 2 plus 4. You get the same thing. All right, and then we've got 4b minus 7ab. All right, so have a look at them. I'll just scroll down so you can see the answers as well. Have a look at what you highlighted. All right, and once you're confident, you can go on and do the maths space task. All right, bye.